Hey guys, Brendan Bradford here from Sporting News. I'm here with George Kambosos. We're just days away from his fight with Lee Selby, which is going to be in London in the UK, obviously. How's camp been and how's the build-up going?
It's a pleasure to be back on with you, Brendan, and Sporting News. Yeah, we're here now. We're ready. Obviously, camp has been fantastic. And I never really finished camp. I always in the gym. I'm always training. So we've done a massive phase one in Australia, in Sydney, throughout the pandemic. We were sparring and training 2-3 times a day and building a great base. And then we're here in Miami. We've been doing the last 4 or 5 weeks now in Miami. Been sparring, been doing the pad work, the conditioning. So we're ready. We're 110% ready now. Over 150 rounds of sparring, and just can't wait to handle business. This is my time.
I think this is maybe the third or fourth time you've been to Miami for training.
This is my fourth time. Yeah,
Fourth
time in Miami. So I think I need to become a resident out here. So many times I'm out here now, so I know every street, every road. I mean, my manager's from here, and I'm telling him which way to go. So, no, it's good. It's a great place to train. Great facility, and look, Muhammad Ali used to train here in Miami. So if it's good enough for him, then it's good enough for me.
Are you still training at the same gym that he used to train at? I know you were there maybe a year or so ago.
We did do some sparring there a year ago for the Mickey Bay fight, but no, we've kept everything in-house here in Fort Lauderdale. We're actually in Fort Lauderdale with my head coach, Javier Centeno. Everything has been there, and obviously with this pandemic, we've had to be very smart with every move we make. We're getting tests every couple of days. We're doing corona tests and staying on top of everything. And
you were over there at the start of the year with your family, with your 2 kids and your partner Beck. I remember you made a pretty mad dash back to Australia before COVID got too bad and lockdowns and whatever. Just talk me through that, because it was a pretty hectic sort of couple of weeks.
It was. Obviously, we came in, the original Kambosos Selby fight was May 9th, so we came in March, and we had a fantastic first week. Great training for the first week in Miami, and all of a sudden, the following week when we come to the gym on Monday, and you could see it on the news, the world had gone crazy, and all of a sudden the gyms were about to close down, and they actually closed the gym a couple of days later, and they're talking about lockdowns, and there was a few stories coming out that all the gun shops were sold out here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So I'm starting to think, okay, forget the fighter. I'm a father. I got my 2 kids here. I got my partner here, my fiance. So you know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna get back to my beloved Sydney, Australia, and we'll work it out. We'll work everything out. Everything will be meant to be. And here we are again. I'm here. Obviously, no family this time, which has made me even more of a madman, more of a savage. And look, we're 10 days out from the fight now.
I remember, back when it was, peak sort of COVID here, the supermarkets be out of toilet paper, but the gun stores are out of guns in Florida.
Yeah.
Like that's a different scene, eh?
It's a different scene. And we started thinking, I started thinking as a father, okay, what happens if we do go into lockdown and it's every man for himself or every family for himself? I've got no guns here. So look, the best option was obviously to get out of there, go home, be safe, and look after my family, look after the kids, and everything was meant to be. Look, if I had to obviously fly to Sydney to drop them off and come back, I would have done it. It's the fighter I am. I mean, I've travelled across to, obviously, America is one of the highest rated rates of coronavirus in the world. I've travelled here by myself. I could have stayed in Sydney, done the camp, and obviously flown to the fight. But that's the sacrifice I make. The sacrifice I make for my family, for my career, and obviously, to be the best. I mean, I make these sacrifices.
Yeah, like you say, you're over there essentially solo at the moment. There's a bit of that sort of, that old school young, hungry lion vibe back in you. No family, just got to get it done.
Yeah, look, I'm always a hungry young fighter. I'm always a savage, but just not having them here and really knowing what I'm doing it for. And then when you see, obviously, people send you some stuff of Selby with his family, with his kids, enjoying his time with his family while he's in camp, that just makes me more of a savage. Well, you're not sacrificing and enjoying a little bit of time with your family. I'm already sacrificing. I'm training 2-3 times a day, like a man possessed. October 31st, it's gonna be a fantastic victory for Team Ferocious. Huge win, and I'm gonna punish this man. This man is gonna get punished. It's Halloween, so I'm a nightmare.
Let's talk a little bit about the fight, about Lee Selby. 33 now. Lee Selby's 28-2. His most recent loss was that instant classic against Josh Warrington about 2 years ago, and I think his first loss was like his fourth fight, so can't go back that far. But what do you make of his career over the last sort of 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, look, good career as a featherweight title holder, defended the belt a few times. But, this is a new era. I mean, like we've seen Lopez take out Lomachenko. The young, hungry lions are here in town now. I mean, there's no time for these old lions, these old bulls. So I'm ready. And I'm excited. I hope the best Lee Selby turns up. I mean, I don't want no excuses. Obviously, again, go back to the Lopez-Lomachenko fight. Again, excuses from Lomachenko now. He's injured, his shoulder, whatever, he's had surgery. I don't want any excuses. When I punish this guy, I don't want any excuses. And, we're looking for the next big fight after that. I'll be the mentor to Teofimo Lopez. And I'll tell you now, that fight will happen.
Do you look at when you watch Lopez-Lomachenko and you watch what Lopez did, obviously I know you're super confident in everything, but does that give you like a bit of a boost just to see him, he's come over and he's a young, hungry guy knocking over a veteran like that?
Yeah, look, it's a great win, and I applaud the kid. Great win, took a risk, and the risk paid off. And like we're doing, we're chasing the hardest fights, we're chasing the biggest fights, and I know this is my time, this is my moment, and I know I have too much for Lee Selby. We talk about the fight between himself and Warrington, and I'm that much more of what Warrington is. I'm a faster, bigger, stronger, more explosive, better thinker, better footwork than what Warrington is. So, what does that say? October 31st will be all there, all for everyone to see on a huge platform. And
like you say, obviously Lee Selby, former featherweight world champion, had a great career at featherweight. And we guys move up in weight all the time and want to win more titles at higher weight and test themselves. But what does it say to you that he was such a long-time featherweight champion? He's the other side of 30, and that's when he's gone up to lightweight. Does that say something about his sort of mindset at the moment?
Either he doesn't want to make weight anymore, he just outgrew the weight, or he doesn't want to struggle to make the weight. Maybe he just wants to enjoy himself while he's training and eat, a little bit of the sneaky, family foods that he has with his family right now. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just focused on taking this guy out. 33, 23, 103. Doesn't matter. I'm here to take them out. If the guy's in front of me, and look, this is the IBF mandatory eliminator spot. The IBF made this fight mandatory. This is a fight I've wanted for a while. I've actually chased this fight before. We asked for this fight. And look, the IBF chased it. I want it, and we're going to get it. I don't know how much he wanted it, but too bad. It's me and him next Saturday.
And like you say, it's obviously the mandatory for that belt. But in addition to that, obviously about a year ago, we had Bob Arum say, hey, potentially Lomachenko Kambosos is a fight. Earlier this year, we had Teofimo Lopez say your name as well. Hey, I'd fight George Kambosos as well. So you're both, you're on both of their minds. Obviously, it turns out to be Teofimo Lopez is the champ. So that's got to be good as well, like a good sign as well for things to come.
Yeah, it's a good incentive, to know that he's the next guy. I was excited watching the fight because now I have the exact person that I'm going to fight next. And I'll tell you, that fight will happen. That fight will happen in Sydney or Melbourne, in Australia. That will happen in 2021. It's a huge fight. We talk about Kambosos Lomachenko. Would have done 50, 60,000. This will do the same. This guy just beat Lomachenko. This is a young, hungry guy, fighter. This is the guy that has a very similar side to myself. Wants to come forward, wants to throw punches, wants to give a great fight for the fans, give a war. So, look, it's all there, but I'm super focused on Lee Selby. That's the man in front of me now, and I'm going to knock him out with like a domino, get rid of him, make a huge statement, and then the team will start to negotiate with Teofimo Lopez's team. And look, his manager came out yesterday again in an interview saying that he would love to fight, obviously, the winner between Kambosos and Selby. Both got countries behind each other. And I got the whole of Australia behind me, got the whole of Greece behind me. So it makes perfect sense. But Selby is the man in front of me.
In a way, is Teofimo Lopez the bigger fight? Like, and obviously Lomachenko's pound for pound one of the greatest at the moment, and challenge wise, he's awesome. But in terms of pay-per-view numbers and general interest in the fight, do you think maybe Teofimo Lopez has a little bit more shine at the moment?
No, 100%. Hell yeah. That's the fight. That's the fight that I got excited for. Remember, we spoke when he first called me out.
Yeah.
And then we spoke about the fight, and I said, look, Lomachenko's the guy. He's been there. He's got so many accolades. But personally, I'd rather fight Lopez.
Yeah.
And, when he won that fight, I was happy. I was happy for him. I've met him a few times. We've sat there. We spoke, like fighters. We spoke like gentlemen, So I'm excited. I was happy for him, and I've got to do my business. And look, we do it in Australia. There's no crowds in the US, so why not come to Australia and fill out mass amounts of crowd in a stadium and get it done? Unified championship fight in Australia.
And I heard somewhere that you have actually sparred only like maybe 3 or 4 rounds with Lee Selby a couple of years ago in LA. Is that right?
Yeah, we did. We sparred a few years ago at the Wildcard Gym, the home of Freddie Roach and obviously Manny Pacquiao. Exactly the way he fights. He runs, he moves, he taps. And every time I touched him, he was shaking in his boots. He didn't want to be there. And that was only 4 rounds back then too. So, if he thought, okay, this kid's got something back then, I really come into my prime now. I'm hitting harder than ever. I'm faster than ever. I've got so much more experience behind me now. And I'm just ready. I'm ready for this fight.
How have you grown over the last couple of years, traveling the world, sparring, training, getting different looks, fighting guys like Mickey Bay, former world champions? Like, in your mind, what have you improved on most, and how have you grown?
Just a better all-round fighter, where it comes to adapting, to changing my game plan, to the movement, setting up my shots, my power shots. Some fighters are born with either speed or power. Not many possess both. I'm very fortunate to possess both. I got speed and I got electric power that could knock someone down and take someone out within a split second. So I'm very blessed. And come October 31st, in this training camp, we've worked on showing both sides of that speed and power and that aggression. So come October 31st, it'll be there for everyone to see.
If you look back at your last sort of 6 or 7 fights going back a couple of years, we've got fights in Sydney, Auckland, Melbourne, Connecticut, Athens, MGM Grand in Vegas,
Kuala Lumpur,
Madison Square Garden, Kuala Lumpur. Man, you don't mind hitting the road, do you, to go get a fight?
No, I'm a road warrior, and I was actually thinking about that yesterday. My last few fights, all them different countries and different casinos and mega arenas around the world, and on the big Pacquiao undercards, and obviously the Terence Crawford undercards, different cities. For me, it's the experience. I feel I have more experience than Lee Selby. Yeah, you're a former world champion fighting little guys. But where did you go? You fought in the UK your whole career. You might have went once to the US. I've been traveling, there's the last 5-6 fights all around the world, fighting different guys and being in different situations and different backyards. And when we talk about, obviously, this fight being behind closed doors, it suits me. It suits me because you got to think, when I was in Australia, I was filling out, arenas and making a lot of noise. And all of a sudden, I left. Everyone was like, "Where's he gone?" And he went to the US. And I had to start again fighting on obviously the big shows, but on the start of the shows where there wasn't many people there. And again, with the Mickey Bay fight, we fought early in the night. There wasn't that many people there. So I'm ready for obviously it's behind the closed doors, scenario, which it is. Is he ready? I don't believe so.
And a massive, obviously behind closed doors, no crowd, but a massive stage, massive fight. Dereck Chisora fighting Usyk. All eyes, of the boxing world are going to be on that fight, and obviously as the co-main, a massive stage for you too.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge stage and a massive platform to make a massive statement. They're both massive names. Obviously, there'll be a lot of eyes on the main event, and obviously a lot of eyes on the co-main event. So, it's what it's all about. You got to think the way I've taken this road. That's why, obviously, I tell these Australian fighters, get out of your comfort zones. Start sacrificing a little bit more. You think he's making a dent in Australia? He's not making no dent. Come to the real world and see what it's about. And if you can achieve it over here and do what like we're doing, then I'll applaud you.
And I know obviously you like fighting on the road and you've got some experience at it, but I don't know if you were watching the fights last week in the UK. Lewis Ritson got a pretty dodgy decision win over Miguel Vasquez. We saw the judge like looking at his phone during the fight. Like, does that come into your mind at all as the away fighter? Is that going to play on you at all?
Look, I'm coming to knock this guy out either way, but you got to think things happen for a reason. Miguel Vasquez, former world champion, who beat Vasquez to take his belt? Mickey Bay. Okay, he gets a pretty shitty decision against him last week, 2 weeks out from my fight. So the whole British board is on edge now. They got to make right decisions. And look, I got a very smart team. I got a very good team behind me. We weren't walking into this fight with just UK-based judges. We have neutral judges for this fight. There'll be a UK judge, there'll be a European judge, and there'll be another judge from somewhere in the world. So there'll be neutral judges there that are going to give the right decision. So, but again, I'm not worried about that. That's for my team, and I know the business I have to do in the ring.
How does this fight end between you and Lee Selby on it would be November 1st in Australia, early morning, Sunday morning? How does the fight end?
Punishment. I'm going to punish this guy and I'm going to stop this guy. I'm going to get rid of him. We'll see how brave he is. If he's going to be real brave, he's going to get busted up real bad and taken to the deeper rounds and taken out. Or he might just quit. He might just quit real early. But a victory. I will win this fight.
Nice one. George Kambosos, thanks for joining us, and good luck against Lee Selby in a couple of days' time.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Brendan, and obviously thank you, Sporting News.